This is the lesson of the week for thisisclassicalguitar.com. And last week we looked at right hand preparation or right hand planting of the fingers. And this week we're going to look at left hand preparation of the fingers. So before we look at a specific exercise that we can do to improve our left hand technique and prepare our fingers, let's first just talk about what it is, like what left hand preparation is, and why we might do it, why we might practice it. So the first thing is, what is it? Well, in its simplest form, it's preparing the fingers to play the note that comes next. So if you're playing a C here, for example, and the next note is a C on the second string, first fret, having your finger hover over top of that fret and that string, and then playing it, will be preparing your finger for what comes next. So if you're playing this lower string and your index finger's way up here, it's not ready to play on that second string. It's not ready to go. And your movement from here to here will be so big that it'll be pretty inefficient and it won't look like a calm movement. You'll probably be like, you'll jerk your finger into place trying to get there in time. Instead, when we pre-prepare our fingers over the notes, all we really do is go, see that small movement I'm doing with this finger? Just down into the string? Well, that's the thing that you want. That's why when you watch professionals play really difficult works, it still looks easy. It's because they're pre-preparing their fingers on the strings. Now, why would we do this? Well, it's more efficient. So if our finger's hovering above the string, you'll be more accurate. So it's definitely an exercise for accuracy. And since it's more efficient, your movements will be smaller, and therefore the development of speed and the development of accuracy will be increased, right? Preparing your finger to be in the right place before it has to play will allow your fingers to develop the muscle memory for success, for accuracy, and to be there before it has to play, so therefore speed. Because we can't just move really quickly when we want speed. We have to prepare our fingers to be in the right place at the right time, even before the right time, in order to play fast. So there's accuracy and there's speed. Sometimes pre-preparation might even take the form of actually putting your finger down on the string and on the note before you have to play it, and that might help with right hand security issues. So if you're a nervous player and you shake lots, putting your finger on the guitar instead of hovering it will allow your finger to calm down and offer some security in your playing as well. And just like the right hand preparation, the other reason we might practice this in the left hand is that it's just a great way to practice. And students are often looking for ways to practice or improve. So you don't want to just go home and play endlessly. I mean, playing isn't really going to improve you, right? You want to develop your technique and develop your pieces and develop your songs and your muscle memory. And preparing your left hand fingers for these things is the way to do that. So let's take a little example. Let's take a Spagnolettas by Gaspar Sanz. You probably know the piece. We'll just take like a little bit of the intro. So let's talk about preparation of the left hand in this little piece. So you play the first two notes. You can set up the first A. By the way, you can get the sheet music off the website. I have an ebook for Sanz, which has this piece in it. There's a link for that in YouTube, but you can just watch the video and just get the general ideas as well. So you play the first two notes. The next note is my first finger at the second fret, so I have to make sure that my index finger isn't way up here or hovering way over here or someplace weird. It has to hover over that string. That way when I go to play it, it's right there. Now, the next two notes are the G and the D here. So these two fingers, the third finger and the fourth finger, need to hover over top of their fret. So over the top of the third fret and over top of the sixth string and the second string. So you can see they're ready to go, and then when they play, they just go down. if my fingers weren't doing that, I would have to lurch my fingers from way over here to way over here, making the movement seem erratic and drastic and just much more difficult than it should be. So, now by pre-preparing my fingers, all they do is go down just like that. Such a small, tiny movement. I think this also helps with left hand relaxation, because if your movements are small, probably you won't have much tension in your hand either. The smaller the movements, the more relaxed your movements will probably be. So let's keep going. The next note is the F here, so I have to pre-prepare my first finger on the F. Next one is C down here. Next one is D on the second string, so I have to prepare my fourth finger down here. Now, this is a shift, so although I can't prepare my fingers without the shift, I can still kind of like shift, pause, place. It's good practice to just practice that shift and create the form in midair and then simply drop into the guitar. Not quite the same idea as before, but just as beneficial to your technique. Now, so let's just continue this. Second finger is going to shift here, but let's make sure we prepare the second finger. Let's not have the second finger like way up here and then do the shift. Instead, bring the second finger down. I should pay attention to what the notes are. Having the second finger hovering over the second string, means that you can just shift down and place. And then the C with the third finger. So when players play, they're always doing this. They're always pre-preparing what's coming next. So that's why, like, when you watch the left hand with more advanced players, that the movements seem so calm. So one way you can do this is, if you really, really want to prepare your left hand, is you can tap the notes. I love this exercise. So every time I have a note that's coming up next that's fretted, I'm going to try to tap it with one of my free fingers. So we'll start with from the beginning. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap, tap. Actually, there you might even want to just tap the fourth fret, even though you're going to play at the third fret, because it just prepares that finger for what comes next. So obviously the rhythm gets messed up and things are a little bit wonky when you do that, but we're just talking about like preparing the left hand for what comes next. So I used to have a teacher, actually, I won't mention their name, but and that teacher would actually make me go through entire pieces. This was in Vancouver. And then he'd make me go through entire pieces preparing my fingers over what comes next. And it was a very good exercise. Actually, they're prepared while you're barring and then shift. Now, watch my hand when I play the example. really none of the movements looked that crazy. Like my fingers should have been in place before they have to play. The only exceptions when you have shifts, you have to kind of prepare the fingers and then shift. It's a little bit tighter of a preparation in the left hand. So you can apply this to any single piece you're playing at any time. It's a really great way to just work the muscle memory of the left hand, and also just find a good way to practice your pieces. If you're just out of ideas on how to succeed with accuracy or speed, then pre-prepare your left hand, do it in a few rotations, and then of course play it more musically without the preparation or without the like tapping exercise or something that I did. But play it very musically with adding some of that preparation when there's free fingers available. And this will work better for some pieces than it will for other pieces. That's just the way it goes in music. But it's a very helpful left hand practice technique. So I hope you use it and enjoy it. And if you found it very successful, leave a comment in the YouTube info section for me. Thanks.